Ginger's an attention hog, and so she heard you say record.
Oh, is that it? Okay, so we are recording. And welcome everybody to the MuddyUm Laugh-In, hosted by myself, Susan Brearley in Poughkeepsie, New York, and
Laurie Nave from Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
woohoo, we call ourselves the MentalPause Madams.
Because it's really hot in here. It actually is.
I'm post-mental pause though.
You're post-mental pause.
I'm just still trying to find my brain.
Let me know, because I
got my Einstein hair on today. I didn't do anything. So I'm going to read one of my pieces called Einstein hair today. But before that, I just wanted to put in a little advertisement for us. We all write for a publication called MuddyUm, and that is on Medium.com. And we'd like to encourage you, if you're not already a member on Medium, to go out to Medium.com, start a profile, pay $5 a month. $5. That's cheaper than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, right? $5 a month gives you unlimited access to every writer who writes on Medium. And some of us are top writers out there in multiple categories. And Medium actually has, it's going to be the new YouTube for sure. Medium has, I think, like 8 million visitors a month. And the 5 of us here, and there are lots more in the weeks to come who will make an appearance on our little Zoom laugh-in show here, who will share with you some of the pieces that we have written and read. And for some of us, we don't have jobs other than to write. And so your $5 a month pays writers like ourselves to continue with our writing craft. So we encourage you to do that. So Laurie, I know you went first last time, but do you want me to go first this time?
Yes, I would like you to go first.
Okay, so I have something I just wanted to share that a friend, my housemate, sent to me. I thought you might all enjoy it. Can you see that? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Got it? All right, here we go.
Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B,
Okay, so you can always, at the end of anything that anybody reads or shares, you can unmute and clap and laugh.
Woo! That was good.
He kind of looks like he's trying to like be sexy as he talks about the virus.
I don't know, but I thought it was really funny. B. Yeah, whatever it is, B. I go with B. All right, I'm going to start out since I got my Einstein hair on today. This is it's probably not as funny as many of the funny pieces that I do, but I enjoy this one because it was inspirational, and I really feel like we need laughter and inspiration both. And sometimes the inspiration doesn't come from like, look at me, celebrity, look at me, just stick, hang in there, you can do this kind of thing, but from the everyday situations that we go through, because we're all in the same place here where this crap isn't easy. So this piece is called Einstein Hair, and published this on Medium last year, May 2019. My friend Shweta visited me last weekend. Her daughter was graduating from the CIA, the chef school, not the spy group. And she flew in from New Delhi for the graduation. And it was her first time traveling internationally alone. Over the weekend, she shared with me that if it weren't for me, she would not have had the courage to make this trip all by herself. She was born in Nepal, grew up in Kathmandu, and after marrying her husband via an arranged marriage, moved to India. She made her first trip out of India about 2 years ago with her husband and daughter Bhumika, after Bhumi had made the decision that she wanted to pursue her life's dream of becoming a chef. The family made the necessary arrangements and sacrifices and found me through the magic of Airbnb. Our time together during that first visit was so beautiful. We cooked together, we talked, we laughed, as if we were long lost sisters, and despite the fact that it was only our first meeting. When Shweta and her husband Vikas left to go back to India, I told Shweta she was my sister from another mother. She laughed and agreed that it was so. Even her husband came to call us sisters from another mother. When we were all together, everyone laughed and was happy, the way a happy family feels when they are together and in a reunion. Over the 2 years that followed, we stayed in touch, FaceTiming, WhatsApping, or Facebook messaging, talking about life and children, and making arrangements for holidays for Bhumi, as well as the next time we would see each other for the graduation. I picked up Shweta from the airport, gave her a big hug, and we drove north to Poughkeepsie. It was so great to be together. We cooked and talked, laughed and cried. She is truly my sister. We made stuffed parathas, kheer, lemon pickle, chutneys. She brought me kakra, my new favorite snack, and made me chai with freshly ground ginger and herbs for breakfast. I made her fresh banana bread with no eggs. She doesn't do eggs. And chocolate chip cookies with pecans and dried Montmorency cherries and golden raisins, her new favorite cookie, also with no eggs. Shweta was in constant communication with her family back home who loved and missed her. I don't speak Hindi, but I could hear the passion and love in the conversations. One morning, Vikas and Shweta were speaking via FaceTime, and I peeked over Shweta's shoulder to wave and say hello. Vikas took one look at me and said, "What happened to your hair?" Everyone laughed. I told him it was my Einstein hair. They laughed harder. It was the same kind of funny thing my stepfather would have said to me growing up, expecting it to be taken as a joke for the purpose of eliciting laughter, never as a derogatory thing. I want to just pause here for just one little second and show you the illustration that I put in the article. Just like today. Isn't that as good today as that day?
That's awesome. That's how mine looks today.
That's my Einstein hair. Anyway, let me go back. So, oh no, what happened? I lost the article. There it is. Oh, so the next day, I was feeling very sad and broke down crying. I had to fix a vehicle that had sat dormant for the winter, battery dead, and missed the inspection deadline. It was the only vehicle I had big enough to take all the luggage to New York City to Bhumi's new apartment after graduation. I had only 1 day to get it all done, and the garage said the inspection would not pass, which I knew would put their plans of leaving the next day in jeopardy. I didn't want to let them down. Shweta looked at me as I sobbed and said, "Please, Susan, don't cry. I don't like to see you cry. You are so strong. The only way I could ever have made the trip here to New York is because of you. You are the strongest woman I know. I could only ever have come here alone because of you." I wasn't feeling very strong at all in that moment. I was feeling very loved. A short while later, she spoke with her family and with Bhumika, in Hindi, of course, then came to me and said, "Let's just stay here for another day, cook together and relax. We can do everything tomorrow. We will figure out how to make all the luggage fit in the smaller car." I was quite sure it was impossible. It had taken 2 trips from the campus to my house to get it all in that other car. But I had underestimated Bhumika's magic packing skills. I'm not sure where she got those skills. I told her it was likely from refrigerator packing. You know, how some people know exactly where a thing is in the overpacked refrigerator, and you suffer from refrigerator blindness when they tell you where a thing is and you cannot find it. But then they go to the exact location where they told you it was, and you, of course, feel helpless to understand how they could find it and you could not. She expertly removed things, shifted things, and got 2 carloads worth of things into 1 car. I was gobsmacked. Bumi explained to me also that she wasn't sure how she did it either. The standardized tests she had been given years ago told her that she was terrible at spatial relationships and predicted the kinds of jobs she should do or not do. I told her not to listen to those tests. They are written by and evaluated by men who don't know how to find things inside a refrigerator, even when you give them explicit instructions on the exact location of where to find it. I told her the tests lie and don't pay any attention to them ever. We all laughed and marveled at her skills. I told her, you are amazing. You have amazing skills, and skills are the most important thing. Later, we had another wonderful dinner with parathas, chutney, poha with potatoes, and basmati rice with peas and cauliflower and spices, cumin seeds and handfuls of other spices that made my tongue and my soul happy. Then we sat around on the couch and chairs in the living room, laughing and telling stories. And we laughed again about my Einstein hair, which I didn't have a chance to brush or fix all day, since the day was so full of activities with my sister, who I knew would soon be leaving and I would not see again for perhaps years. Most days that are busy like that, I just throw a colorful hat on my head so no one has to look at it. But with my sister and her family, I knew they loved me enough that we could just look at the mop on my head, make jokes, and laugh. Everyone needs a love like that in their life. I told Bumi that she was smart and had great skills, and she was big and strong and brave. But even when you are the strongest and bravest person you or anyone else knows, you can still be hurt. They all had a visible example of that day. So I told her to take a self-defense class. I hope she does it. And then we talked about food and cooking. I shared that the thing I loved most about cooking and sharing my dishes was that each one of the women in my family and women mentors that I had all had their own dishes they prepared, each of them being expert at their dish. And as I prepared their dishes, I thought of them, and the preparation and sharing brought me so close to the memory of them. And I knew I had my own special dishes I loved to share, and people thought of me too when they prepared my recipes. That's the magic of the love in the food we cook and share. During this visit, Shweta and I created something new. It was a melange of ingredients we had in the kitchen, and it was so simple and so beautiful that I named it the Shweta sandwich. It starts with a ciabatta roll. I cut it in half and drop the top and bottom in the toaster. It comes out toasty brown and hot. That's when you slather on the fresh salted butter, and I suppose you could use olive oil if you don't do butter. And on top of that, you put fresh tomato. We used heirlooms for maximum flavor and juiciness. Then some baby arugula. On top of that, some sweet, fresh pepper. We used an orange one, like the green or red bell peppers, just orange. Now this is very colorful. Then some baleen chunk salt and fresh ground black pepper. Fresh ground black pepper. You eat it open-faced, and it was so delicious we could not stop eating them. Before bedtime, I told my honored guests that when I get my captain's license and will take my guests out on the Hudson River for lunch or dinner tours, I will serve them Shweta sandwiches. Shweta smiled. I said, you know, some days you really just need to have the Einstein hair because it's more important to sit around and eat Shweta sandwiches. I love my sister from another mother from halfway around the globe. I think we all need to connect with their sisters and invent our own new Shweta sandwiches. I'm going to share a picture of my sister Shweta. There she is. Oh, can you see her?
Yes.
Great. There she is in my kitchen.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful. Yeah, I love her.
Smiling big. We're laughing big.
So that's my sister Shweta. Yeah, I still talk to her. I talk to her at least once a month.
Very cool.
That's great.
I hope you
Get me
liked
really
it.
hungry, and I want a Schweta sandwich.
I know.
Yes. The recipe's on Medium. Just go look up Einstein hair.
Nice.
Who wants to go next?
Well, you made everybody cry. Now I feel
Oh,
silly.
It was really fun to read it out loud because I kind of teared up a little bit.
Yes,
but,
I could tell. That's why I cried.
But like sometimes, like I go back and read that article actually, often, and because it reminds me of Shweta being here, and like sometimes I'm just sitting alone here reading it, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Get the tissue box.
Have you done your own audio for any of your stories yet?
I have not. I love when people do, and I haven't started doing it. And I have the start of cataracts. I have baby cataracts. I asked the eye doctor, hey, yeah, what can I do about that? Like, nutrition, like, kind of prophylactically, like preventative kind of stuff. And he's like, nothing. You can't do anything.
Oh, he sounds nice.
Yeah,
Is he really tall with a cane? Is he addicted to Vicodin?
I think maybe he does.
Sorry, House. I love Dr. House. He's my hall pass.
I think maybe he's like a walking advertisement for laser surgery or something. He's like, no, I'm not gonna give you anything to do for your cataracts. Terry Ann, nice to see you. Welcome to the party.
I was talking to my sister and I forgot that.
Oh no, you're not too late.
I do not understand what this is, but whatever we are doing, I'm doing it too.
You are. If you roll your mouse down, you see the little bar on the bottom. You have a thing to mute yourself when people talk, and you have a way to chat in a chat room at the same time.
Yes. No, I know my Zoom.
Oh,
so.
You do? Okay. Oh, yay.
Well, of course, for the academy, for the Ninja Academy.
Oh, yes, for the Ninja.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Cool.
Okay, so I just finished reading. Yeah.
I want to see everybody who's here. Oh, okay, cool. That's nice. I'll mute my.
Oh, she already muted herself.
Oh.
So who would like to go next?
I'll go ahead. Mine is totally different. We'll just pretend this is a network night of television. You just gave us a This Is Us episode because we're all sobbing. And I'll be our commercial.
I love it.
All right. So if you're old like me, you remember the commercials where you could buy the Time Life series of songs of the 60s, songs of the 80s. If you watch Whose Line Is It Anyway, you've probably been included into that. So this is my compilation of 231 songs. No, I'm not singing them all. On 41 CDs or 87 8-tracks. Songs of the coronavirus. And I don't know if the audio will work. We're all quarantined, and as we say, music is the great healer. So while we're here, not able to socialize or go to ball games or see the latest concert in a venue, I bring to you this special compilation for only $999.99, paid directly to Lori Nave via check or money order. Songs of the coronavirus. We start with the jazz age greats like Ella Fitzgerald and Peggy Lee, and no song reminds us so much of the coronavirus scare as that great jazz song, Fever. Never knew how much you sniffled, never knew how much you coughed. Yet you put your arms around me. Boy, I'm gonna bump you off. You give me fever. in the office, fever in the shopping mall. Fever, don't you touch me or I'm gonna call the law. Now, we'll move forward a few decades because we all don't just like jazz. We love those wonderful hits of Motown. So, we all know the Motown greats. The biggest Motown great of all, the biggest diva there ever was, is Aretha Franklin. And just like we always should do, especially in a time of crisis when all we want to do is be emotional, we need to learn to take a deep breath and think. You better think about what you're trying to buy TP. Think, boy, you better save a roll for me. I went down to Walmart so that I could stand in line. Now those shelves are empty and I can't whip my behind. You better think. Well, for those of you who are children of the 80s, we all know that one of the biggest movies in the 1980s was Top Gun, starring a pre-crazy, pre-Scientology Tom Cruise. And one of the biggest hits was that love song called Take My Breath Away. I don't know why I think you have to see my phone, but you know. Using sanitizer, cleaning everything inside. Buying up a mask and making sure I wear it right. Spraying all the germs until the Lysol makes me high. If the virus gets me, all I'm gonna do is cry. Oh, take my breath away. Take my breath away. If you don't have a check, you can always use PayPal. My handle is luriusi@gmail.com. Keep that money coming. Ta-da.
That was great.
Oh,
You
that
know-
was awesome.
It's funny, I sing in like bars and restaurants, sports bars, and I don't really get nervous, but like I feel like puke singing that to y'all. I don't know why.
Oh,
I
that
hope-
was
Well, it was really fun.
we're not worthy. I mean that
Lori, I hope you
Yeah,
keep
you're touching
writing
my
songs.
face. You have me touching my face.
Oh,
That's what I used to
Hey,
do when I was
Nance.
a music teacher. So when I was a
Hey,
music
Nance.
teacher, we'd do that, and I would change the words. So
You should start doing a Twitter a day song or something. with
well,
your miracles.
That's hilarious.
the first time I did it, I did a little play called Book Trek, like Star Trek, because the book fair was a space theme, and I took things like Beat It and made it read it and stuff, and I found out that was fun, and it was easier than writing your own music. So there you go.
It's fun. It is fun.
I hope you'll bring us more songs for episodes to come.
Well, if I do a second one, I've got a Broadway one, but I'll wait till everybody else goes, and then we'll see what time it is.
Okay. Oh, great. Who would like to go next?
I would.
All right. You are on, Nancy.
Oh, okay.
Nancy, I have a question. Nancy, I have a question for you. Is that a virtual background, or is that your real background?
That's my back. That's my back of my house. I was thinking I want to turn around so you guys could see my barn again. It's probably a better
That's
view.
nice. Very
Um,
nice.
Someday, next time I'll try to get up on top of the roof and you guys can see the view from out there. It's pretty amazing out here. Okay. Are you ready? I don't know. I might have to get a tissue after Lori's songs. That was hilarious. Okay, this is an old one that I posted a year ago, January. The Naked People Next Door. Wonder if they can hear me. What are
Say
the
it again,
rules?
the naked, say it again. The naked what?
The naked people next door. What are the rules on this? We've been living in our dream home for over 10 years, loving every day of it. But the new neighbors have us thinking it just might be time to move. It was a regular Saturday afternoon when my husband and I had started discussing what movie we might settle in to watch before firing up the barbecue for a quiet evening at home. The doorbell always starts the dogs barking. My husband yells at the dogs to stop, and they bark at him to stop yelling at them. The door opens and they all go quiet. The dogs turn into wiggling noses and tails, and my husband becomes civilized, offering his hand in greeting. They seem likable, normal at first. Thinking about it now, I'd say my new neighbor had rehearsed this introduction many times. It's smooth. Larry and Claire, been married over 20 years, 3 kids grown and gone. They're semi-retired, her from medicine, him from the law. And we're nudists. Yeah, he said that. Standing on my front porch still because they declined the offer to come inside, he said it right after telling us about their 3 kids, all living on the East Coast now. I could understand why. Visiting must be weird. There were words I picked up on, just in case, and parties, and how much they just love the outdoors. My outdoors just happens to face theirs. Great. Not that these people are unattractive by any means. If anything, I'd say they're a better looking couple than my husband and I. We're older, they're younger, and I'm sure, actually, unfortunately, I know, their birthday suits don't look as worn out as ours. So there. I'm just not one to want to see that over there or over here or anywhere where other people might have to see what you're doing your thing. I mean, where does the line between what you want to do in your space go when what you do in your space makes me unable to do what I want to do in my space? Like enjoy my backyard without having to watch my naked neighbor skim his pool. Okay, yes, I could turn my eyes, and I do. But when he's right there, when I come out of my sliding glass door, waving, big smile on his face, and his stuff there, jiggling as he waves, it's all I can do to do what I now call the wave and turn. And no, I don't smile back. And no, I don't let myself get drawn into conversations with the naked guy next door because that is so weird. And yes, I do get the fucking hysterical giggle fits when I think of his little package jiggling like the turkey flesh on the back of flabby arms. Okay, try getting that picture out of your heads now. I have a naked guy waving at me nearly every morning, has my creep-o-meter going crazy. I mean, what is he thinking as he stands there in the buff, his junk jiggling, waving at me? Does he think I'll come over for a closer look? Does he think I'm weird because I don't want to come have a close conversation with a naked man? If I was having a conversation with this very same naked man out on the street, wouldn't he be arrested? My mind can't get around how he could think this is normal. It does have my husband and I discussing the building of a wall. How ironic. My naked neighbors are out in full skin this morning doing their usual chores, which has me making adjustments to when I tend to my chores in my backyard and even alongside the backside of my house where the windows face. Yes, my naked neighbors. They go about their business as if nothing is unusual. I guess in their world, nothing is out of place. It's mine that's being rocked, and my rocked world obviously isn't their concern. The first weekend my husband got his eye full, he laughed it off, said the first sunburn should send them inside for the rest of their lives. They must have had really good sunscreen because not even the 110 degree keeps them inside. I wonder how they'd feel if I responded to their nudist announcement that I was the lead singer in a death metal band, my passion, and we practice several times a month at my house, in my backyard, at full volume, so we can get a good feel for it. And don't worry, I tell them, it won't bother you at all. Of course, then I'd be on the hook for rounding up the band that could rattle fillings from teeth 100 feet away. Would I get my point across? Would my naked neighbors realize their lifestyle isn't everyone's cup of tea and they should, keep their shit to themselves? In the meantime, seriously, what's the rule on this? How can it be okay for grown people to walk around naked in their backyards that are not obviously private? Does anyone want to buy a house next door to a friendly nudist couple? I need a better view, which is a bummer because I really liked the one I had. That's it.
Gross.
Oh, let me show you.
Yeah.
I mean, this. I'm not. They don't live here right now. I live where snowbirds live.
Oh, they're right
Okay.
there.
What part of
Oh, wait,
Arizona?
show it again.
What
That's
city?
Show it again.
Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm in Scottsdale,
Scottsdale.
Arizona. North of North Scottsdale.
So wait, where is their house? Where I
That's
don't understand.
behind
Where
me.
is
Can you see
That's it.
behind me?
Yeah.
so that house?
Yeah.
But
that's
how
their
can you?
backyard.
But there's a wall.
But I can
there's
see
a
right
wall
into their
there.
backyard from where I stand, you know, and they walk out. And then can you see their view deck?
Oh, they're up there
Yeah.
too. Like Bathsheba.
It's like, are
Wait,
you,
Can I?
it's mind boggling. And
Americans have a phobia about nudity, and I'm not saying that I'm the person that's going to be the nude neighbor, because I actually am pretty private, and I'm comfortable in my own skin. I have no trouble walking around naked, and if I'm with a partner, I have no problem walking around naked. And a lot of people are very uncomfortable, but it's really a function of like what you grew up with and what you learned, and then also because my surrogate mother we would have conversations about nudity, and she has a quilt. I have to bring it to one of the meetings. When we were in high school, she had a quilt. She was this amazing actress. She was a trained actress. She went to school with Michael Landon, the guy in Bonanza.
Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, yes. And so she went to school with him. They were actors and actresses together. She was also an amazing creative artist, and she was my neighbor, and she became my surrogate mother when I really needed one. Anyway, she had an open door policy, and all the kids after school would go to her house. And, you just ring the bell and then walk right in. And she would always have arts and crafts projects. She was like the community mom, really, community grandmother. And so she would do things like teach scrimshaw and batiking and making candles. And I mean, you name it. Every possible art and craft project that you could ever imagine, she would do it and teach the kids in the neighborhood. But the funny thing is, we all used to laugh and joke because she was also a quilter, and she would do applique, and she made all her family's clothing from scratch. She made her husband suits and ties and everything. She was so talented. And she was a seamstress. She used to do window dressing in New York City. Anyway, she had this fabulous quilt on their bed, her and her husband's bed, that she handmade. And I have it now. I was gifted it. And it was a picture of a naked man and a naked woman with all their body parts on the quilt on top of the bed. And all of us, when we were in high school, we'd all be like, have you seen the bed? Have you seen the bed? Did you see the bed? Did you see the bed? And we'd be like, can we go? Can we go down and see it? We would ask the daughters. There were 3 daughters that we went to school with. Can we go see it? And that was the thing. We would like tiptoe down the stairs to the parents' bedroom and be like, oh my God, it's naked people on the quilt. Oh my God. And it was supposed to.
That's really not fair. I had to look up R for reproduction in our encyclopedia to see stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 1976 bicentennial set.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad if you grew up in the country like I did. The very first time I kissed a boy, like French kissed a boy. Well, it was the first time I ever kissed a boy, and it was a French kiss with a boy. And he was from South America, even more scandalous. I met him at the roller skating rink, which is where all the bad boys hung out. But I was a really good roller skater. Anyway, I kissed this boy and thought, I worried for 6 months if I was going to get pregnant because I had no clue.
Oh, that's funny.
That
is funny.
6 months?
You were
still worried?
I was worried that I was going to get pregnant because I had no idea. And I was probably 13 or 14.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that old. Yeah, it just wasn't discussed.
Wow.
Like
Wait, where did you
nobody
go
talked
with that?
about it. Nobody talked about it.
Where did
Wow.
you go with that?
The French kissed a boy, thought I was going to get pregnant. Yep. hmm
That's funny.
This very horny conversation would lend well into my piece this morning.
Well, I'm going to listen, but I have to go make a sandwich right behind here while I listen. But I promise I'm listening.
That's fine.
We'll watch you make the sandwich while we listen to Andy.
My husband just came in from work and he's hungry and he said, "Make me a sandwich." No, he didn't. But still.
Jeez.
All right, so I'm listening.
Okay.
Okay, Andy, you're on.
So I'm going to read a shorter piece. It's from medium.com, but it's not from MuddyUm. It's actually one that I published on Slackjaw. I post most of my stories on MuddyUm. I've only done one on another publication, and this is it. And it is, you know, when you read those like sci-fi novels or kind of any novel that's written by a man who's just like really horny in the pages and just like objectifying women, and like the sci-fi isn't the part, it's the women. I wanted to write kind of like as that author to his fans, to his readers. So this is a satirical letter. It is called, As a Sci-Fi Author, I Admit I Have Never Been to Space. Dear readers, I have received tens of angry emails from you following the release of my second self-published science fiction novel, Earth Babes Go to Outer Space. I am stunned by your criticisms, and I want to address your concerns regarding my wildly unscientific portrayal of space travel and my amateur depiction of the atmosphere on planet Mars. Let me be clear, my work is fiction. I have never even been to space. That doesn't mean that I didn't do any research. I have seen plenty of Star Trek. It just means that I thought the action of the laser battle in Chapter 5 was more important than the boring science behind it. So, when Einstein69 wrote to me criticizing that, quote, the electron concentration of the beam from Nina's laser blaster when she misses Morg Pie's head would be enough to cause damage to the spacecraft's exterior wall, end quote, all I can say is that Einstein is missing the point. You are too focused on the sciencey stuff. Who cares about the accuracy of the air pressure in the cargo hold when there is an epic laser battle taking place? Was it not awesome when the laser bounced off 3 walls before blowing off Morg Pie's arm and covering Nina in alien goop? I know it was, because I wrote it to be. You're welcome. And to Elizabeth in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who wrote me a letter condemning my female characters as, quote, flat, horny caricatures of how real women would think, feel, and behave, and why don't they ever wear clothes, end quote. I am a male fiction writer, and that's how I wanted them to behave. So no, it's not realistic, but how could it be? You might as well tell me that my aliens' behaviors are outlandish. Duh, it's called make-believe. Lastly, almost all of you told me that you didn't buy it when, in Chapter 12, the babes discover that the atmosphere of Mars contains oxygen levels of 20%, making it possible for them to take off their spacesuits. One of you went as far as to FedEx me an 11x17 NASA graph of the lethal dioxide and argon levels of the red planet. Absurd. Try to understand that I am an author of this world. If I say that 20% of the atmosphere of Mars is made up of oxygen, then you, as the reader, should accept that as fact. It was the only way I could get the babes to strip down. Did you enjoy that? Then shut up about the immediate life-threatening health risks of disrobing in space. Have you ever been to Mars? I didn't think so. Nobody has. So what does anyone even know about it anyways? I challenge all of you to be less critical. Stop focusing on Android Blossom's character development, the timeline continuity from liftoff to arrival, or how an orgy would work in zero gravity. I know it's unrealistic. Once more, it's called science, F-I-C-T-I-O-N. Get laid, nerds. That's it.
That was good.
It's fun. Yeah, it's really fun. Really fun. So
all
can
I
I ask, do you guys all know each other?
Do we know
Only-
each other?
Yeah, I was just curious.
Only
Mhm.
through through writing on Medium. Well, because we all publish on MuddyUm.
Cool. Okay. That was
Or-
fun, Andy. Real, nice work.
Thank you.
That
Thank
was
you.
really fun. What? You published on Slackjaw?
Once. He
And the
said
second-
once,
The second
Susan.
one I
No,
sent
it's
them,
okay. It's
They told-
okay.
I was just gonna say the second one I sent them, they said something like it was a one-word reply of like, "This isn't really for us." I was like, "Thanks."
Yeah, I try to, we really want people to explore on MuddyUm. We really want people to explore their funny bones. And so we take all kinds of humor, and there's probably people in the world who say, that's not funny enough, or that's not whatever enough. But like it's only through practice that you get to have that, right? That you get to exercise that muscle, that writing muscle. So if you don't have a place for that, how do you do that? You could self-publish, but I think it's more fun to do it in a group where you have feedback and you have people who can read and comment.
Well,
And I really view this opportunity, this as an opportunity right now, what we're doing here, as a way to share pieces, get feedback, but also promote who we are on Medium. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of people who say, I can't pay $5 a month, but they'll spend $5 a month on whatever else. And some of the most brilliant minds and funniest people and thoughtful writers, I think, are on Medium right now. So, I view this as a way that we can help promote all of us, all of our work collectively.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm still trying to make my way. I feel so overwhelmed by it. But
Have any of
getting curated and writing often, and oh my gosh. And pardon?
have any of you guys published a book, self-published, anything?
I
Outside of
have.
Lori, yeah? You have stuff on Amazon?
Well, I self-published a romance, like an inspirational romance. And then recently I just published a book of poetry. And in between there, I went through a phase and published 3 erotic novels with a company called Blushing Books, but they're under a pen name because I don't want my mom to find them.
Yeah.
She just doesn't know you wrote.
Yeah.
Did you make any money?
Probably. I made a little. I mean, it was some nice, pay the power bill cash during a difficult time, but I wasn't going to get rich. Right now, I'm querying a suspense novel that I just finished, so that's why I haven't written as much on Medium.
Yeah.
And I think Medium is a way, it can be confusing and it can be overwhelming if you let it be. I've been on the platform since 2017, since before they even had any monetization at all. And so I'd always looked at it as a way to refine and build my writing muscles, right? Refine and build the craft of writing and become better at doing it just by putting some processes in place for myself to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do every day. I'm going to post twice a day. I'm going to write poetry every day. I'm going to write an essay every day. And just set some personal goals for myself, and all the rest, not worry about that up front. And that's still pretty much what I do. If I get a curation or I get some, special, so an article goes viral or something, I look at that as icing on top of the cake. But the main part of it for me is just building that exercise, so that now when I have an opportunity now to write for a publication that pays, $100, $500, whatever per article, I now have a critical mass. I have a base. I have an audience that follows me, and I have a couple of viral articles. And so when I go pitch to that publication, I say, hey, here's my profile. here's what I do over there. You can take a look at my work. I have an idea for an article, and I know they pay for their articles. Then they come back to me and say, oh, I always like to hear pitches from experienced writers. And now you're an experienced writer.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's really, really the way to look at this is it's foundational. It's
Yeah.
right? It's foundational.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
let the medium experience itself overwhelm you. It's foundational.
Yeah. Thank you,
It's
Susan.
a way
It's
to
just,
build the habit, the muscle.
Yeah.
it's just that, well, at the minute, nobody's working, but even before the virus, I wasn't working, and I'm collecting like unemployment, you know, and it's just, I need to find a way of making money. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm learning this whole freelance writing business, which is why I
Yeah.
signed up for the academy. But anyway,
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's good. That's good feedback. Anybody else have something they want to read or share?
I'm good for today.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I think I am too. I'll save my Broadway for later because we're going out to the river to isolate on the water.
Oh,
Fun, nice.
hey, can I ask, where is everybody? I'm in London. You're
Hello, London. I'm in
Oh,
Arizona.
wow. I'm in Alabama.
who's it? Alabama.
North
And where are you,
Carolina.
Susan?
I am in Poughkeepsie, New York, just the last stop on the Metro North train out of New York City.
Wow.
I know Poughkeepsie. One of my best friends is from Poughkeepsie. And
Oh.
Andy, where are you from?
I'm in
Where do you
Chicago.
live? You're in Chicago. Ah, great improv city.
Yeah, we're missing
And
it.
who's that? I know, but I saw some people are doing improv online.
Oh yeah, the whole community's crazy. It's amazing.
One of my favorite podcasts does live shows in Chicago a lot. It's called Live from the Magic Tavern. If you like podcasts, oh my gosh, it's hysterical.
I'll check it out.
But live? That's
Live
great.
from the Magic Tavern. It's this guy, and he fell through a portal behind a Burger King into an alternate dimension, and he interviews all the magical creatures. But if you like Monty Python and you like
Ooh,
they're just funny.
I'm writing it down. Live from the Magic what?
Tavern.
Love it. Thank you.
Terry,
And where are you from?
and you're in UK?
Yeah, I'm in London.
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 Yeah, I'm in London, and I don't know too many people here, so it's a little hard.
But you don't have you don't have a British accent.
Yeah.
I'm American.
Yeah. Where
He
are
just
you?
lives there.
Yeah, I'm American. Oh God, no. I'm from New York. I lived in New York for a long time. Is anybody in New York? No, nobody's in New York.
Susan is.
Poughkeepsie. I mean, it's not New York City.
Oh
but-
no, I meant New York City. City.
Yeah.
And Kim, where are you, Kim?
I'm in North Carolina,
Woo, Southern Pride. I'm sorry.
a little town called Statesville.
I know where that is.
And,
Sorry. Us Southerners are weird. It's all the grits, which I hate.
I'm
I
glad
do
you.
too. I don't eat them.
I'm
It's
glad you
sand.
admitted that, Lori.
I mean, I'm sorry, but it's sand. You're eating sand. It's, ugh. Okay.
I agree.
So I guess we'll wrap it up then. And if I expect that as we go, because we're going to do these every other day, and y'all saw the schedule. Since we're doing these every other day, we'll have just a different mix every day. I put these up on my YouTube channel, which you can, pick them up there and share them. But also I'm posting them on Facebook, and I'm posting them in our private publication Facebook group. And so you're welcome to share these with friends. You're welcome to invite people to who you'd like to share this space and time with. We have room in this chat room for up to 100 people. And so, yeah, so we don't, it would be really fun to have a big audience for ourselves. And so each one of us can invite whoever you'd like to invite. They're open to the public, and we don't charge for them. But I do see it as a way where, we can introduce the writing community to the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah.
And have a couple laughs doing it.
Yep.
That's right.
So we can bring in stuff to read, yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're trying to keep it light. We're trying to keep it funny.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah, because we all need that. And so, you know, in real life is good.
It's,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you all
right.
for your contributions today. It was loads of fun. And hope
Yep.
to see you and all the new people on Monday.
All right.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay.
Have a great rest of the
Okay.
weekend.
You too. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Susan.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.